Hello, welcome to Petra Media. I'm your host Terrence, and today I wanted to discuss the battery replacement that I got for my OnePlus. In a previous video, I got a 19-volt battery. Well, let me correct myself. It's a battery that has multiple outputs, but the one that correlates to the OnePlus outputs 19 volts. Now, this is not exactly a huge issue with the OnePlus because the OnePlus, although it accepts 12 volts, has a voltage regulator internally that can step it down to 12 volts. In theory, it should be fine regardless, but to be safe, I decided after a couple of conversations with some of the people in my community that were commenting on my channel that it might be wise to go ahead and do the 12-volt battery and showcase the 12-volt battery to everyone because I want to make sure that I'm being a good steward of not only my channel and my content, but also for you guys, because I don't want to give you guys incorrect information and you assume that that's what you need to do. I never want that. I always want you guys to think for yourself. So I encourage everyone to always share what they think and we can discuss. And I appreciate the knowledge you guys gave me. So I went ahead and got the 12-volt battery. So what we're going to do today is not only show you guys what the battery looks like and how I have it connected, but also I'm going to use it in the studio for a session and just run the entire session with just the battery. My intention with a battery is for it to last as long as, at very least, what the Live 2 would run, which is roughly about 3 hours, give or take. Even in a moderate session, 3 hours, give or take. To be honest with you, most people in battery scenarios are not going to run more than an hour. These videos are not too long, although it takes me about roughly 30 minutes of content to make a 15 to 20-minute video, give or take. I think it's best to just run it through the whole thing. So if it makes it through the whole video, then I know it's a good battery because it normally doesn't take me longer than about that to make a video anyway. I will share the information on the battery throughout the video and a link in the description, but enough on that. Let's get into it. All right, so this is the Talent Cell battery that I picked up to replace the one that I got. This is a MB3200, and it's an interesting connector because it's kind of a dual connector. Essentially, this thing was, I think, about a little over $30 or so, a little bit smaller than the one that I had before, not by much though. And I can actually use a dual connector. It comes with a dual connector. What I realized this was for because it doesn't show you in the manual, but it allows you to plug in the connector for the adapter. That way you could charge your battery while powering your OnePlus. This essentially becomes a battery backup scenario, which is actually pretty cool, which is what I talk about all the time and things that I would go for when it comes to scenarios like this. That way, if I'm working on things here and something goes wrong in the studio, I have the battery to run it if the power goes down. And I do need to test that, basically have it plugged in and then unplug the cable. I'll do that off camera just to confirm that it works, but it should work fine to do that and charge this at the same time. Now, I downsized to this battery primarily because this machine is 12 volts. Now, the original one is 19 volts. So if you have an original one, the battery in the last video is perfectly fine for that machine. And a couple of the other MPCs are 19 volts. But the OnePlus is a 12-volt machine. And the smart move is to use a 12-volt battery just to be safe. This battery puts out 12 volts at 3 amps, so more than enough to take care of this unit. It comes with a battery meter. You press the button on the side, very simple. It has a USB out, USB-A out, USB-C out, and a barrel out. This is called a DC2, I believe. DC1 or DC2. Either way, all the connectors you could possibly use. You can use a USB-C to barrel type adapter to actually power this, but there's no real need to do that. And this is also the same port for charging. This is also another same port for charging, and the USB-A is only for out. So enough jibber jabbering about this. Let's power on the OnePlus. Again, as you can see, it's literally just connected to this. There's nothing else connecting to it. And I'm going to put the battery down behind it. While the OnePlus is powering on, I'm just going to start thinking about things that I'm going to be doing. The other day, we were out with the boys, and our daughters were at the Houston Children's Choir. They had a performance, and while they were in practice, we went and explored the Houston Zoo, and I noticed there were these musical instrument constructs that are set up, And I figured, why not sample one of them and make something out of it? And there was this nice chiming bell thing. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna sample the whole thing in, and then we're gonna chop it up and figure out which one I like the most. And we're gonna do something with it.
Yeah.
I was almost done. Wait. Two more. Pretty much the boys just went nuts at the end. They were like, nah, we're not gonna wait. We're gonna do this and you're gonna accept the situation. And of course I had no choice but to accept the situation. So we're gonna trim off some of that. All right, and then we're gonna process that. 0 snaps on, and we're just gonna do threshold because it's just easier. So what do we have? That's what we're gonna go with. So let's convert, do it. All right, let's make this a simple 4-bar loop, right? All right, now that we got the basic idea down, so now we can just copy this, duplicate track at events. I'm gonna go into here, and we're just gonna do that. Sometimes I just pick things randomly and I just see what happens. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I just go somewhere else. That's actually pretty awesome. I think I'm gonna stop here with this. I'll probably mix it down a little bit later because I rarely mix the same day I make the beat. I know some people like to do that, but I tend to do like a minimalist setup with effects and everything just to get the idea out of my head. And then I'll come back in and be more diagnostic and tighten it up. I think I'll work on this one soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It's just a little bit of fun with some bells we're playing around with the kiddos. I hope you guys enjoyed what I came up with. The idea was not really fully fleshed out, but again, it was just for fun. And I think I may be able to turn that into something a little bit more. I'm gonna see what I can do with that. The battery's pretty awesome. For what you saw on your end was probably a few minutes or so. but I recorded for a little over 47 minutes of nonstop recording with this thing, and the battery is still saying that it's nearly fully charged. Obviously, it's not fully charged. It's still showing 4 LEDs saying that it's basically almost full. So I'm going to say that it's about roughly 90%, 85% still charged. That's still a lot of charge. And I put almost an hour in on this just for this beat. So pretty good product. In any event, like, share, subscribe, and join me next time. And I hope this helps everybody with the 12-volt version of any MPC, the Key 37 or the One Plus. And the other battery is great for any of the other MPCs that are a little bit more high voltage. Catch you next time.